Late 1990s. The Cold War is over. Nuclear threat is gone. But peace is not embraced by all. Zanzibar land forms a military government. And starts invading nearby countries. It also raids nuclear arms for disposal storage sites around the world. And becomes the world's only nuclear power. At the same time, oil resources are quickly growing scarce. Then Marv engineers the microorganism Oilix, which excretes high-quality oil. Soon after, he is kidnapped by Zanzibar land. with unique nuclear force. And Oilik's Zanzibar land is unstoppable. A tiny organism holds the fate of the world. This is Snake, arrived on entrance point. Snake, just on time as usual. Okay, let's begin Operation Shrewd F-014. Remember, your mission is to sneak into Zanzibar land, then you retake kidnapped Dr. Keo Marv, Czech biologist. Now turn on your mobile radar. Okay, switched on. This radar is equipped with various sensors. It'll warn you of many dangers. What's its range? 9 screens with you in the middle. The radar deactivates when an enemy finds you because the enemy can detect the radar signal. I see. Where's Dr. Marv? Dr. Marv has an emitter in his tooth. If you come near him, he'll show up on your radar as a red dot. Let's find that red dot then. Snake, communications will be on frequency 140.85. Good luck. Over. And the game begins. Hello everyone and welcome to Let's Play Metal Gear 2 Solid Snake. And wow, the frame rate got really bad in between games. I'm guessing that has to do with the fact this is actually a very technically advanced game for the MSX. And here we immediately get our first ration. Or yeah, well actually no, our first ration and item I was about to say, but no, our first item, another ration. However, items no longer respawn when you exit and re-enter a room, so that's gonna get annoying. Oh, well, hello there, Campbell. You're calling me again, I see. As soon as I press the R button. Well, it's R for me, because I put an R for radio. Crawl and sneak through the gap in the fence. Over. That's right, Metal Gear 2 actually introduced a new concept to the series. Ducking. Reminds me of X5. The way you do it, press one of your punch buttons and the spacebar. Mind you, I'm telling you that with the keyboard controls. I doubt any of you actually have an MSX, but if you're emulating an MSX, you're going to be using the keyboard more likely than not. Anyway, now we can actually see around us. In fact, enemies, first off, enemies have actually seen an advancement. They actually have peripheral vision, so stealth is actually a bit more important this time around. However, because we can duck, there's actually a few more opportunities we can have to avoid enemies too. But keep in mind that radar up there in the top right, that is going to be the way you avoid enemies for the most part from off screen, because they can walk on screen and they will see you more likely than not. In fact, in a few moments, you'll actually see me hiding, standing in one place for a bit, even though it looks like I can just move on because the guard outside is still moving. God, look at that frame rate. I do believe that the version of this game that came with Metal Gear Solid 3 Subsistence, or was it Substance? I can never remember which one of the two is which. The frame rate was sped up a bit, but I'm not entirely sure about that because I actually never owned Subsistence. This was a game I played on my cousin's father's MSX2 that he imported, if I recall correctly. Oh, hey, another ration. Yeah, enemies thankfully still drop stuff. Sneaking in from the front is impossible. Look for an alternative way in. Over. Oh, by the way, that's Colonel Campbell. Keep him in mind. He'll be around for a while, to say the least. Though you might notice something, people who are more used to later Metal Gear games, well, first off, in here we got a handgun, but I don't think it actually has any ammo. And here's what I was talking about earlier. I'm staying still because that enemy, as you can see on the radar, is just outside, and if I walk out, I will get spotted. You might notice something when it comes to the character designs on the radio there. Snake and Campbell look distinctly like movie stars. If I recall, Snake looks like Mel Gibson, wasn't it? Or something or other. He definitely looked like a bit of Gibson meets Stallone on the second intro there. And that's going to be a weird running thing because a lot of the characters seem like they're based off real people in this game. The Subsistence version, or Substance, whatever, would later revamp them to look more like they're more up-to-date designs. By the way, if you head left here in this vent, you will find some handgun ammo, but I don't want to go there. Oh, by the way, yeah, this game actually has load times. God, those are kind of atrocious. At least for a cartridge-based system. Those are pretty standard for older disc-based systems. And by the way, I'm going to mention something right now. Well, first off, let's get this call. I'm Holly White. I entered Zanzibar land a month ago as a journalist. I think I can be of assistance. My frequency is 140.15. Will you call me? Bye. Well, hello there, Holly. Either way, one thing I'm going to say right now, this game's soundtrack is probably the best we've seen so far out of Metal Gear. My favorite song, actually, we've already heard it. It's the intro song. It's just called the theme of Solid Snake, and it's so catchy. Anyway, when it comes to early game here, one thing I can recommend is, first off, get used to the somewhat slow moving, because you'll be seeing that for most of the game there. And also, get used to looking at the radar, because since you can no longer... Well, first off, since enemies will actually now look to their left and right, you can get spotted more easily that way. Since enemies are more mobile now, they can go in between screens on their own. You're going to need to keep an eye on the radar just so you can know if there's what's coming up ahead. Make sure to get used to that. It's going to come in handy in the next game, too. Well, actually, no, the next two games. Anyway, the elevator on the left is blocked, so let's go into the one on the right, but it won't open for us. This game gets realistic. Punch the button. That took me longer than I'd like to admit my first playthrough to figure out, because I'm so used to elevator doors just opening up for me when I walk up to them in video games. And you're going to notice one thing here. When you're in the elevator, you move a lot faster. I'm guessing it's because of the fact that it doesn't have to render as much. Either way, we have to head up to floor 2. And loading screen. Yeah, these loading screens are kind of bad. Though I like the fog sound design they got going on there. That thing would actually later reappear in Police Knots and a blue-colored version on a certain character, which would also make another appearance later on in this series. Either way, in here, we got our good old friend ID card number 1. Like Metal Gear 1 on the NES, MSX, and Snake's Revenge, key cards will only open the door of their respective level. They will not open ones higher or ones lower. And doors, yet again, are not marked, so it's a bit of a guessing game. And we got binoculars there. If I recall, that allows you to look onto the next screen. And you might notice this guy actually noticed a noise. That is us walking on the grating. They actually tried to make this a bit more of a stealth-oriented game than just walking behind someone and punching them in the head like Metal Gear 1 was. So you have to keep in mind now the things you're walking on, too. So watch out for that. It's gotten me caught a few more times than I'd like to admit here in Solid Snake. And over here, now I finally get some handgun ammo. Well, actually, it's just ammo in general, because there's no specific ammos yet. That's not until 2 games from now, technically, in terms of the marathon. Or wait, does Ghost Babel do that? I forget. Either way, this guy is very slow to notice that someone's punching him. Then again, I like when you punch someone, they kind of look around confused, like, what's going on? What's going on? What's going on? Either way, now I want to head up to floor 3. At some point, I might start cutting out these load times, but I'm not entirely sure. Either way, from this elevator room, the door on the left is locked with a higher level keycard, so we can't go there yet, but I want to head up north first. Because if you head south first, you can make it, but you're gonna have a bad day. Be careful in this next room, because this thing sends out a sensor. That is another alarm. So watch out for that. And now I want to head south. And get out your cigarettes, because your cigarettes, due to the fact that they're smoking, allows you to see not infrared, lasers like this. Which is, you know, actually fairly well thought out and realistic. Though they take a while to switch. I like Snake's little animation there, by the way. And get keycard 1 out, because we're actually safe in this room. At least as long as I don't try to walk into the next door down there. And more of the same here, so we can get our good old friend, the gas mask. Take a guess at what it does in this game. You'll never get it. Where were you in Snake's Revenge, though? God, I really hated the gas rooms in Snake's Revenge. Either way, at this point, I'm actually going to cut back to the elevator room. Mostly because it just saves time. You saw how to get there from here, so I might as well cut back, right? Be careful of this guard in this room. I actually generally forget he's here for some reason. Though you could be like me and just sneak up behind him and smack him in the back of the head enough times. I do believe it's still always 3 shots to the back of the head to take him out, though. And we want to head through the top door with keycard number 1. But the moment you open it, go back into your menu and put on the gas mask. Because this next room has gas. But they changed the way that gas works in this game. You actually have an oxygen meter. When you have the gas mask, it's elongated by like 2 or 3 times, I want to say. By the way, be careful of the camera on this northern room here. But you actually have an oxygen bar that depletes before your health starts depleting, so you actually have a bit more leeway when it comes to being in gas-filled rooms. By the way, let's head in here. Oh, hello there, Doctor. How are you? I'm gonna get my gun out for no real reason. Because I like threatening people. What the? Ha! Ha! Fool, Foxhounder! Dr. Marv is not here, trying to trick us with that cheap emitter. You Foxhounders are quite out of date. What the? I'm Black Color from NASA Special Force. Show me how good you Foxhounders really are. Come on, Foxhounder. First boss of the game is Black Color, and he's a ninja that throws 3 stars at you for his attack. However, bit of a strategy. As long as you're outside of the little rectangle boxes, he'll stay within when he teleports. If you're inside, he stays outside. It takes 30 to 40 shots to take him out, and even though it only shows him getting flashed from the first hit a couple times, all the other hits do count. Best way to fight this guy? Stay above him, and just mash the fire button, and heal when necessary. It's a very easy boss, but his damage output can be kind of surprising. You know you're getting a boss close to death when they start going red instead of white, though. Though the slowdown does not really help during this fight, and he's dead! Snake. Who are you? How do you know my name? It's me, Schneider. Kyle Schneider. Remember me? Schneider, Resistance member in Outer Heaven. But then, why didn't they kill you? Snake, you're still too immature. It's not them who tried to kill me, it's your country. I don't understand. After you beat Metal Gear, NATO conducted an air raid. Resistance members, women, and children in Outer Heaven. We were all abandoned. Many died in the flames. No, that can't be. Children in Outer Heaven were formerly war orphans. They didn't like the existence of those children to go public. Never. Maybe. Someday they'll forget you too. However, He rescued us, gave us new land and new families. Who do you mean? Soon you'll learn of his greatness. Snake, I owe you and hold no resentment. It's not against his will. I'll tell you where the doctor is. The guard of his cell is a green beret. Look for him on the 1st floor. Tail him, and you can reach the cell. Goodbye, Snake. I'm gonna ask how he exploded, but for beating him and for him randomly exploding, we get Kid Cartoon and a life upgrade. That's right, you get the way that you get your life upgrade in this game has changed. It's no longer rescuing prisoners of war, it's defeating a boss. This is something that I'll keep through in the next couple games as well. Somewhat. Either way, yeah, Schneider, the guy I barely talked to back in either version of Metal Gear 1, he's now dead. And randomly a ninja. That's not the last time that's gonna happen, by the way. Not the last time at all. It's gonna happen a lot, actually. Either way, now that we've got the second keycard, we can actually now explore this floor a bit more thoroughly. But with that, though, I'm gonna need to end this off here. Thank you guys for watching, and in part 2 of Metal Gear 2 Solid Snake, I almost said Snake's Revenge there, we are going to be continuing on here on this floor of the Zanzibar land building and seeing what else we can find in it. See you guys then!